Hi all, welcome back to the final part of the series on creating a dynamic facade panel. In this part, we're going to place the custom node we created on the sample geometry and test out its dynamics. So let's get started. So welcome back. So here we are back in our sample base file, and we've got our base polygons. And as you can see, we have our dynamic facade panel listed in our node types dialog box there. And the node was automatically loaded because in the last series, when we saved out our generated node type, we clicked the option to include in our GC environment. But this node could be loaded into any project using the G&T manager. So we'll drag that node in, and you can see it only has two inputs, one being the input polygon and one being the input hood height. Let's link the input hood height to the height of hood node we generated in the first part of the series, and let's link up the base polygon to the sample polygon reverse node. As soon as we do that, you can see the dynamic facade panels generating across our sample polygons. If we rotate around the model, you can actually see it's taking on those variables we set at the beginning. So the hood heights at the base are actually a lot higher than the hood heights up at the top of the building. And if you zoom in, you can see that. Working quite well, the cutouts in the corners are working, the rods are working. I can see there's a slight issue with the posts we have there. They're not actually following the polygons, and we'll fix that in a moment. You can see the hood heights themselves are working perfectly. So they're much higher at the bottom and they'll flatten off as they get across the top of the building. Let's look at that in the right view. So now if I actually go into that target point and I actually start changing the Z value for that. So if I change that back to 0 and hit enter, you can see each of the facade panels starts to react to that change. And similarly, if I change it to say 15,000, you can see all the hoods growing as they go up the building. One thing I wanted to change though is that post orientation, and we actually ended up with some duplicate posts because we actually need one post in the corner due to the way the array works. So all I need is just the post up in this top corner here. I don't need the one at the bottom because obviously when you tile this, that post then appears down the bottom anyway. Let's look at our corner post. So what we need to do is actually put in a coordinate system for that corner post. Let's create a coordinate system. Create this coordinate system by copy, transform, geometric contents. The node to copy is going to be our triangle 1 CS. And we're going to copy that from the triangle 1 CS base point. And we're going to copy it over to where this corner post needs to be. So for that, I'm just going to go into that placement corner there, and I can just copy the one where we want to target. So we'll copy that and we can paste it in there. And you can see coordinates system appears on that corner. So for that, I can just make it visible because I don't need to see it. And I'm going to rename this to be corner post CS. And now in the placement, I can delete the 2 points that I had in there and just put in corner post CS. And now we just have one corner post, and it'll be rotated in alignment with the panel as it changes the angle across the facade. The other thing I did while I was in here was I noticed that some of the hood structure lines, those rods that we created, I found that they weren't generating consistently. And what I decided to do is create them out of surfaces. So I dragged in a B-spline surface and did the same thing. So swept a circular profile along the lines. So then what I did is just generate a new node type and went back in and applied that to the building again. Here are a few renders of the final product, and I think overall it's been quite successful. So moving forward with this, I've only linked the dynamics of the panels to a single point, which could be a point of interest for the building itself. One potential opportunity is to link it to the actual sun path, and maybe we could even use the optimizer node. So there could be quite a powerful opportunity to run the optimizer to see what's the best optimum result between view versus shading for the building. That brings us to the end of this series. If you have any comments, please leave them below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.